Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the Funimation dub of episode 55 of Dragonball Super. We begin this episode with Goku using instant transmission to arrive at Beerus' planet, at Beerus and Whis' request, because at the end of the previous episode, Grand Zeno the Omni-King contacted Beerus and Whis because he wants to see Goku again. Goku, however, doesn't want to go see Zeno right now because the repairs for the time machine are almost complete, but Beerus makes it very clear that no one turns down a request from the Omni-King, and he also makes a point to tell Goku to be on his best behavior, because if Zeno perceives any action or words as a slight against him, he could erase the entire multiverse or omniverse as a result. Beerus and Whis also realize that because the Supreme Kais have the Kai ability, an ability that allows an individual to teleport anywhere in a matter of seconds, and unlike instant transmission, the Kai ability allows the user to teleport without needing to lock onto an energy signature. So they figure that it's a good idea if Shin goes with Goku and Whis to see the Omni-King, figuring that Whis and Shin can both keep an eye on Goku to make sure that he minds his manners. And after Beerus tells Whis to make sure that no harm comes to Shin if Zeno does become angry during the visit, this leads to Whis revealing to Goku, and by extension the audience, that the Supreme Kais and the Destroyers of each universe are linked together. That's to say, if one were to kill all the Supreme Kais of a universe, then the Destroyer of that same universe would die as well. Back at Capsule Corporation, we see that Bulma, Dr. Briefs, and the Pilaf trio have completed the repairs for the time machine, but Future Trunks is resting right now because, he's resting after training with Vegeta in the previous episode, and Bulma thinks it's a good idea to let Future Trunks fully rest before telling him that the time machine repairs are complete. The next scene takes us to Universe 10, more specifically Planet Babari, where we see Gowasu and Zamasu are still observing the Babarians' future, courtesy of the Time Ring. And seeing the Babarians fighting each other leads to Zamasu commenting that this just validates his points about how mortals waste the gifts that the gods have given them. But then one Babarian in particular is about to attack the two Kais, but Zamasu ends up killing this Babarian with an energy blade attack, and Gowasu is quite horrified by what his apprentice has done. Even Zamasu himself has a look of regret on his face, even if it's only briefly. They return to Universe 10's planet of the Kais, and Gowasu takes back the Patara earring that he let Zamasu borrow, and he scolds Zamasu for what he did to that particular Babarian, mentioning that they could have just teleported out of there without having to do anything. And Gowasu brings up that that particular Babarian, for all they know, could have been an important individual in his species' history. Like, that particular Babarian could have been the Babarian that led his species to make progress for the better, and now the Babarians have been robbed of that possibility, for all they know. That's right, we go to Universe 7 next, and we're on Universe 7's planet of the Kais, where Goku and Whis have arrived, and they tell Shin, Kibito and Old Kai about the situation with Zeno, and Shin agrees to join Whis and Goku on this visit. And Shin, Old Kai, and Kibito, like Beerus before them, make a point to reiterate that Goku really should be on his best behavior when he's in the presence of the Omni-King. And after that's dealt with, Goku, Whis, and Shin all arrive at the Omni-King's castle thanks to Shin's Kai ability. When they arrive there, they're greeted by an individual who's known as the Grand Minister, voiced by Josh Grell. And Whis tries to apologize to the Grand Minister about Goku wearing his gi, because the gi is not exactly the most formal of outfits, but the Grand Minister assures them that there's no need to apologize, because he figures that the gi that Goku is wearing right now is probably, in Goku's eyes, his most important outfit. And he's also pretty friendly about Goku's laid-back demeanor, even though Shin is quite terrified, and Whis, of course, is trying to apologize for Goku's casual demeanor. So as they're walking they're on their way to see Zeno in person, and Goku and Whis have a little conversation, like they're whispering, and Goku admits that he thinks the Grand Minister is much more powerful than his appearance would suggest, and Whis confirms this is accurate. The Grand Minister is actually one of the top 5 most powerful beings in the Omniverse, and Whis acknowledges even he, as in Whis' power, pales in comparison to the Grand Minister's power. And he also makes a point to tell Goku that he shouldn't try to have a sparring match with the Grand Minister. Eventually, they do arrive in Zeno's throne room, and Zeno is quite pleased to see Funny Goku, as he calls him, and he also calls him Saiyan Goku quite a bit. And he admits that he actually just wants a friend to play with, and he considers Goku to be a very fun person, or one of the most fun, if not the most fun individual that he's known. And Goku admits, though, that Zeno can call him just Goku, which Zeno does, and he takes the phrase just Goku quite literally. And he wants a nickname of his own, too. And Goku suggests calling him Zenny. And yeah, it sounds the same as the currency used in the franchise, but they're spelled differently. Zenny, the currency, is spelled Zeni, while Zenny, Zeno's nickname, is spelled Zenny. And a lot of the characters present most of the characters present don't like that Goku is calling him Zenny, but the Grand Priest finds it amusing, and Zeno himself rather likes the nickname. And Goku also admits to Zeno that now's a bad time for him to stop by to play because he has some important business to take care of. And while several characters are afraid, their fears are unfounded, because Zeno is actually quite understanding about this. He allows Goku to go ahead and take care of his important business, and he says he's willing to wait until Goku finishes up his errands to see him again. And when Goku suggests that Zeno stop by on Earth one day, this inspires Zeno to give Goku a button, which will, when he pushes the button, this will summon Zeno to Goku's current location. And Goku also says that he'll find another friend for Zeno too, on top of that. And like I mentioned before, the Grand Minister, he doesn't take any offense to Goku's casual demeanor. He's actually rather amused by it. And he and Whis are talking to each other before the Universe 7 group leaves, and he admits he'd like to see Goku again in the future too. And Whis says that Goku's feelings on meeting the Grand Minister again are mutual. So they exchange their goodbyes, and Shin uses his Kai ability to bring him back to Universe 7. And all of the divine beings, Beerus, Whis, Shin, Old Kai, and Kibito, they're all pretty surprised by Goku casually calling Zeno Zenny, but they're also baffled that Goku made a promise to Zeno, finding another friend for Zeno, without having any idea how to fulfill that promise, and they're quite nervous about it. But Whis tells Goku that he should go ahead and take care of the business with Goku Black now. So Goku heads back to Earth with instant transmission. And we're back in Universe 10 on the planet of the Kais there. And Zamasu and Gowasu have another talk about mortals, with Gowasu trying to understand Zamasu's point about mortals. Zamasu believes mortals to be inherently evil, and he views justice as a sword to slay evil with. Gowasu, though, says he views justice more as a scale to balance good and evil. And Gowasu doesn't believe that mortals are inherently evil, even though they're flawed. But he also makes a point to mention that the gods aren't perfect either, and that they're flawed too. And he also describes it, Gowasu describes it as evil informs good. And he says that mortals and gods alike are flawed and will make mistakes, but they're both, gods and mortals alike, are both capable of learning from their mistakes and making changes for the better. But even after their talk, Zamasu still thinks to himself that he knows that what he thinks is right, and he intends to not follow the code of the gods of creation, to only observe and nurture mortals. Now, we're back in Universe 7 at Capsule Corporation, and Bulma presents to Goku, Vegeta, Future Trunks, her parents, and the Pilaf trio, and present Trunks. She shows them all that the time machine is fully repaired and ready to travel back to Future Trunks' timeline. So Goku, Vegeta, and Future Trunks all head into the time machine, and they journey to the alternate timeline, with everyone else present wishing them the best of luck on this mission. Upon arrival, Goku and Vegeta take a chance to look over Future Trunks' timeline and to see how it's not in the best of shape. And Future Trunks finds Future Mai's hat on the ground, but he notices that Future Mai is mysteriously gone now. The episode ends with several members of the resistance, of what remains of humanity, using rocket launchers to attack Goku because they mistakenly think that Goku is Goku Black. So, like the end of the previous episode indicated, this episode we got to see Grand Zeno the Omni-King again, and yeah, it was nice to see a little bit more of Zeno and what he's like. And I do admit it was pretty adorable how he was interacting with Goku, and and the fact that he really just wants a friend to play with is pretty adorable too. And yeah, it must be very lonely when you're the god among gods. So you can see how he really appreciates how Goku is not like a lot of the other characters. And yeah, you can be sure that the Zeno button that Zeno gave Goku, the one that will allow Zeno to appear wherever Goku is currently at, that's going to be important down the road. We can be assured that that's the case. And another important detail was the revelation regarding the link between the Supreme Kais and the Destroyers. That gives the Destroyers a very significant vulnerability, or a very significant weakness. Though it also brings up some confusion compared to in Dragon Ball Z. During the Buu saga, there were multiple Supreme Kais at a time. Shin was actually the Eastern Supreme Kai originally, when there were other Supreme Kais, and Kid Buu had gotten rid of the other Supreme Kais either by outright eliminating them or absorbing them in the case of two of the Supreme Kais, the South Supreme Kai and the Grand Supreme Kai. And Old Kai is still around too. So that gives me the impression that all of the Supreme Kais of a particular universe would have to die in order for the Destroyer to die. Because Shin and Old Kai are still around, so I'd imagine you'd have to kill both of them in order for Beerus to die, because he's still around despite the other Supreme Kais meeting their end at Boo, whether by absorption or outright elimination. And I bring this up because in the case of Universe 10, it's suggested that Gowasu is the only Supreme Kai of Universe 10, because at this point in time, Zamasu is merely an apprentice Supreme Kai. And that has confused a lot of people. Why is it that Universe 7 had multiple Supreme Kais, but other universes seem to have only one Supreme Kai? And that's also the case with Universe 6. It seems to suggest that Fuwa was the only Supreme Kai of Universe 6. Now, admittedly, Akira Toriyama is known to be very forgetful, so maybe this is another example of Akira Toriyama forgetting that detail about the multiple Supreme Kais. Who knows if we'll ever get an explanation for that or not. For the other big detail, Zamasu and Gowasu's talk about mortals. I thought that was a very notable scene. And it helps to show Zamasu is continuing to descend into darkness. And during his rant, he not only brought up the Babarians, but he brought up Goku as an example as well. And that kind of shows you he wasn't kidding. He really didn't forget Goku. And Gowasu, I have to say, I really like Gowasu as a character. I very much agree with Gowasu's stance about how everyone is flawed. You shouldn't make sweeping generalizations about an entire group because of the bad apples, and everyone can learn from their... While everyone makes mistakes, everyone can learn from their mistakes and make a change for the better. So Gowasu definitely is a character I can sympathize with and relate to, and because, yeah, if there's anything that really irritates me beyond all else, it's the idea of making sweeping generalizations about an entire group because of the misdeeds of bad individuals. That really frustrates me when someone makes blanket statements like that, because you really shouldn't make sweeping generalizations about entire groups. You have to look at everyone at a case-by-case situation if you wanted my interpretation of it. So Gowasu really stands out to me. I really do like his character. And in Zamasu's case, it does help to show Zamasu is actually a pretty complex character by the standards of the Dragon Ball franchise, at least. So that was a nice detail too. Zamasu really stands out, and we'll see more about Zamasu down the road. And otherwise, yeah, we end with Goku, Vegeta, and Future Trunks heading to Future Trunks' timeline. So the rematch with Goku Black is on its way. And there's going to be some important details in the next episode regarding Goku Black. So we'll be sure to talk about that when we discuss that particular episode. Otherwise, there we go for this episode. Oh, wait, there is one more detail I should mention, the Grand Minister. There's been several ways to translate his title. Usually Grand Priest has been the translation, but I've seen Great Priest and High Priest as well. And I know some people are wondering, why did they go with Grand Minister? Well, priest and minister can be used as synonyms for one another, so really Grand Minister actually is a valid translation for the title. And if I had to guess, they probably went with minister because of mouth flap and lip flap. Yeah, mouth flap and lip flap. Yeah, mouth flap and lip flap reasons, because it's kind of similar with other things like King Kai, Kai-O, Kai-O-Shin, Supreme Kai, Destroyer, Hakai-Shin. It's probably because of that, because the same number of syllables matches the mouth flaps.